Jai Hind students. Today I am here with a very interesting topic, and other than this interesting topic, we have a very interesting discussion. Because why I am saying interesting discussion? Because generally I have surveyed among the students in all my years of teaching, and I found each and every year the students understand the topic in a wrong manner. Misconception comes into their mind, and it is a very general observation every year. So if you are also victim of this concept, misconception in fact, then today we'll try to burst it out in our discussion. So the topic which is we are going to deal today, which we are going to understand today, is really going to be an eye opener for you, because this is my common experience which I have felt in my teaching years. So go through the video carefully, try to understand the concept in a detail, and it's my promise that you will come out from this kind of myth, which generally not only you have students like you have been carrying from or batches to batches or years to years. So I will try to solve that problem. I will try to burst that myth. Okay, so now very first that this interesting topic which I am going to discuss here is, who is stronger, earth or we? Means here we have to compare the strength of gravitational force applied by the earth on us, or the gravitational force applied by us on earth. Now generally what I have observed, that students fix in their mind that the gravitational pull of the earth is stronger because earth never allows any object to go higher. Going higher means you are challenging gravitational force of the earth, so it does not allow. For a moment if you take a jump, it again pulls you back. For us, if we try to jump, we can get a height for a moment, and after some time again earth pulls us back to the earth surface. Now what comes in the student mind, that always earth is the winner. So is it the reality? That we are going to understand. Okay, now this you can understand in two ways. Suppose this is earth and it is pulling, suppose I am here standing here and earth is pulling me towards its center by the gravitational force. Okay, now that is the gravitational force, suppose applied by the earth towards its center, that is F. Now according to the concept of action and reaction, if I take the gravitational force of the earth on my body as an action, so what does action reaction theory says? That every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So since it is the equality situation, so do you think that you are applying less force on earth? No, you are also applying the same amount of force on earth. Then again comes in the mind that, okay, if earth is applying any gravitational force on our body, then we are also applying the same amount of force on the body. Okay, then how come all the time earth is capable of pulling us down? Why not we pull the earth towards us? So this is the question, this is the problem, this is the misconception, or this question arises in the mind of the student. So obviously I will decide that if I am always being defeated, that means I am the loser and the earth is the winner. But just have a look, different perspective. One thing I have given you the proof, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So in that way also, whatever force is being applied by the earth on our body, the same will be applied by our body to the earth. Not only our body, every body on the earth will have the same tendency, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So in this logic also you can decide that no one is winner, both are equally, but effect is different. And on the basis of effect, when you decide, you will always observe that earth is winner, but check the reality, both are equally strong. Then why the difference is observed? To clarify this, we'll take help of mathematics also. That means our formula. Now if I calculate the force applied by, suppose, earth on us. So it is gravitational force. So I will take capital G, then mass of the earth, because we have to involve the product of masses. So I will involve the earth mass and my mass. So suppose earth mass is me into m upon, suppose radius of the earth is re square. Here I am calculating on the earth's surface. So re square. So this is the force calculated by the earth on our body, okay, according to universal law of gravitation. Now if I calculate the force applied by my body on earth, again I will take capital G, and suppose I am taking my mass first, and obviously the other object is what? Earth only. So we will take mass of the earth only, upon, again the distance will remain same because we are at the same distance. Now tell me, force applied by the earth is having this expression, and force applied by our body on earth by this expression. Now do you find any difference between these two? Mathematically, if you calculate, you are going to get the same value. So this also proves that force applied by the earth and the force applied by us on earth, both are magnitude wise same. So that means there is no confusion. Mathematically also we can observe that force applied on each other is always same. But why always we observe that any object on the earth's surface is always attracted towards the center of the earth, or is always accelerated towards the center of the earth? We never pulled earth towards ourselves. So on that basis you always observe that earth is the winner. But believe me, strength wise both the gravitational forces are always equal. Then why do we observe different observation? Now here not the force matter. What does matter is the acceleration observed. Now we are going to observe how much acceleration is produced by earth on our body and by the force, and what is the acceleration produced by our force on earth, and then we will come to know why we feel always earth is the winner. Okay, but believe me, again I am repeating, nobody is winner. Strength wise both of us, like me and earth, are applying the same amount of force, but the acceleration observed is different. Why? How? We are going to observe that. Now suppose we are interested for acceleration. Now acceleration produced by earth in our body. So according to Newton's second law, acceleration is equal to force by mass. Okay. Now if I want to take the acceleration produced by earth on us, on our body, okay, so how do we calculate that? That if acceleration produced by earth on our body, if we are measuring, the force will be the gravitational force. So it will be, suppose Fe we are taking, okay, this is the gravitational force of the earth, okay, which is acting on our body. So for calculation of acceleration on any body, just take care that force is taken which is being applied on my body, which is applied on my body, and the mass of my body. So the acceleration produced by the earth on our body, so I will take the force of the earth applied on my body and mass of my body, and when I will calculate, or anybody will calculate, 9.8. okay, so this is the value of the acceleration produced by earth on our body. Now suppose we want to calculate the acceleration produced by us on the earth. Now here we are considering earth as an object for which we are going to calculate the acceleration. So when it is the acceleration produced by my mass of m on earth. So again I will take the force applied by the my body on the earth. So it will remain Fm, because by this force I am trying to attract earth towards myself. That means I want to accelerate the earth towards myself. And now what mass will be taken into consideration? Here we are calculating the acceleration of earth. So obviously we are going to take the mass of the body for which we are calculating the acceleration. So here we are taking acceleration for earth. So I will take mass of the earth. Now the force by which I am attracting earth and the force by which earth is attracting me. Okay, both are same, but for calculation of acceleration on my body by the gravitational force of the earth, we are getting around 9.8. How do we get that? We will come to know. So this much value approximately we found for any object. But when we try to find out the acceleration produced by my force on earth, so when you take this ratio, since mass of the earth is very large, so and the force, whatever force is applying, now when you calculate the acceleration, you will get approximately very close to 0. And that's why we do the decision, we take the decision on the basis of the acceleration, and whenever we see the strength in terms of acceleration, we always see that earth is winner, because we observe the acceleration, and the acceleration produced by earth on any object on the earth surface is getting, we are getting a very handsome value, that is 9.8 value, and that's why we observe everything is going, is being pulled down. But when it comes to acceleration on the earth due to our gravitational force, it is very, very, very small due to large mass of the earth, and that's why we never observe any acceleration on the earth by our gravitational force. So again I am repeating, I am concluding, the force, the gravitational force on each other, that means from our body to earth or from earth to our body, both are always equal, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction, as well as mathematically also you will find the same expression. So forces are same, but for acceleration produced is different, because to get acceleration we use mass of the object, where earth is winner because earth applies a large force as compared to our mass, but we are loser because as compared to force applied by us, the mass of the earth is very large, which does not allow to produce a good value of acceleration. That means it's a very negligible acceleration. So if you compare the force, we both are equally strong, but when we compare the acceleration, earth is going to be winner, because mass of the earth is very large. It is not going to be much affected, but our mass is very less as compared to the force applied on our body. So now you are able to decide who is stronger, earth or we. We both are equally capable, but yes, effect, the acceleration produced will be different. Okay, so force wise we both are equal. Now I hope you get this answer. Now after getting this discussion, interesting discussion, now we are going to choose one very interesting topic, that is free fall. Free fall. Now falling, you know that everything is up, you go toward the earth, that means we are falling down. Now what is free fall? That we are going to understand. One thing I want to clear right now here before starting this topic, that in our life we can never see naturally any object doing free fall. Again I am repeating, free fall is not commonly observed concept. Now what is free fall? The very first question comes in the mind. What is free fall? And why I said that it's not a reality situation, and to get this situation you have to do some special arrangements. So why I am saying so? When we leave any object near Earth's surface, it is always going to go down by the gravitational force of the earth. Now when any object falls towards the center of the earth, only under the effect of gravitational force of the earth. Again I am repeating that when a body falls towards the center of the earth, only under the effect of gravitational force, gravitational pull of the earth, then that falling of the object is known as free falling. That means this situation is called free fall. Now, what I said, only under the effect of gravitational force of the earth. If we are talking free fall on the earth's surface. If you are, suppose you are talking the free fall on moon, then we have to say that only the under the effect of the gravitational force of the moon. So place to place we have to change this word. So now I am only word is there. Now do you think that when I will leave this pen, it is going towards, it will definitely going to go downward? Fine. Downward means toward the center. Okay. Now do you think that it is only being pulled by the gravitational force of the earth? None other force is existing on this pen? It is not possible, because it has to suffer, it has to face the air friction also, the drag of the air friction. So then how come it can it become a free fall? Because for free fall only one force is considered to be applied on the object, and that is the gravitational pull of the earth or the moon or anywhere. So in reality we cannot observe. That's why I said in the beginning that it's not a real observation possible. But yes, if you arrange somewhere on the earth's surface vacuum chamber, okay, and in that vacuum chamber if you allow the object to fall, so there will be no other force other than gravitational force, and in that situation you will observe the real free fall. Okay, and you will, when we will go through in the next classes the different facts related to free fall, there are so many amazing things which you will come to know. So wait for that video or that period, that class. We will observe many things, we will explore many things about free fall. So what is the first definition of this free fall? That when an object falls toward the center of the earth only under the effect of gravitational force of the earth, then it will be called free fall. Now for a study of this free fall, we will consider that no air is there, which is not a real situation, but we will imagine that no air is present around us, only the pull of the gravitation is there. Okay, and accordingly we will study our topic. So that was the definition of the free fall. Now when it is falling freely on any object which is being pulled by the earth, now the gravitational pull of the earth near earth's surface will be almost constant. Okay, so for acceleration we have to calculate that how much, if the force is acting, then obviously the body will be accelerated. So if it is accelerated, then we are going to calculate the acceleration also. Now for acceleration we will take the force, gravitational force which is being applied by the earth on the object which is freely falling, and then we will take the mass of the earth or mass of the freely falling object. Obviously we always take the mass of the object for which we are calculating the acceleration. So we are calculating the acceleration for our body. So acceleration is only, just right now I discussed that acceleration is produced only on our bodies, not on earth. So we will take the mass of our body, and whatever value comes, that is the acceleration produced by the pull of the earth, that is the gravitational force of the earth. So this acceleration which is being produced is called acceleration due to gravity. And since the value of gravitational force is constant and mass is also constant, so acceleration is also going to be a constant. So if somebody asks what kind of motion is observed for free fall object, so that is uniformly accelerated motion, as we have studied uniform acceleration in the very first chapter also. So if somebody asks what kind of motion is there for free fall, it is uniformly accelerated body or accelerated motion. Now one thing here, acceleration can be produced by two ways, either by changing the magnitude of velocity or by changing the direction. Here since the object is always falling downward in the straight path, so there is no chance of changing direction. So what is the major reason behind the free falling object to be called in accelerated phase, accelerated situation? Due to continuous change in the magnitude of velocity. And in the previous discussion I calculated 9.8. So that is the almost average value of acceleration produced by the earth on near earth's surface. Why I said that average? Because place to place this will have different value also. So we will go through that concept also in the next classes, next period. Now, so what kind of motion is called for free falling object? Uniformly accelerated motion. Reason? Due to continuous change in magnitude of velocity, not in the direction, because free falling object always traces straight path towards the center of the earth. Now, what I said a while back, that acceleration due to gravity. Now, free falling object has acceleration due to gravitational force of the earth, and the acceleration produced by that force, that is the gravitational force of the earth, is only called acceleration due to gravity. By name itself it is clear. Acceleration due to gravity. Now since here we are talking about earth, the acceleration produced by the earth, so actually it is for earth. Now if you go on moon, then again it will be called acceleration due to gravity, but there the pulling force will be applied by moon. If you go to Jupiter, it will be said according to Jupiter. But definition will remain same, that whatever acceleration is produced by the gravity of any heavenly body like sun, moon, earth, Jupiter, anything, that will call acceleration due to gravity. Okay, but here right now we are going to discuss something about the acceleration due to gravity on earth. Okay, so what is the definition of acceleration due to gravity? I have already mentioned. By name itself it is clear. The acceleration produced by the gravitational force of the earth during free fall is called acceleration due to gravity. Okay, symbol is small g. Okay, now take care of that. One capital G we have already understood, one small g is there now, and they are both different, and this is asked in the examination, that find out the differences between capital G and small g. So we will have this discussion also, but wait for next classes also, because after getting through all the discussion of about small g, capital G we have already done. For a small g, then we will come to know that how to compare this capital G and small g. This is a very frequently asked question in the examination. So symbol is small g. So acceleration which we have calculated, general symbol of acceleration is a. Now this acceleration will be called small g. Small g is nothing, it's acceleration only, but in the special situation. Okay, so we now for a special situation we replace small a, which is a general symbol of acceleration, by small g, and both are same. Acceleration a and g is also a type of uniform acceleration value. Okay, which is specifically used for gravitational world. Now, so symbol is small g. Now unit. Since it is an acceleration situation, it's acceleration only, and for any acceleration, what is the standard unit? So unit is meter per second square. Don't find it very special. It is acceleration, and since it is acceleration, so unit will be SI unit will be meter per second square only. So what is the unit of small g? Meter per second square, as we do for acceleration. Now formula. What is the formula of g? So I am giving you the formula today, and in the next videos we will come to know about how to derive formula and the various facts related to small g, and some more interesting videos for you. Fine. So in the next, wait for the next classes. So finally I am going to give you this formula for small g, and it is very interesting. How we will get this formula? That is the part of discussion of the next class. Okay, I am giving the ready-made formula: capital G into me, where mass of the earth me, capital G is the universal gravitational constant, and then Re square. And just have a look of this formula. Here the mass of the object falling, for which we are calculating the acceleration, is not considered, is not present. How come? the acceleration of the mass that for the object for which we are doing the study, their mass is nowhere. Only what is involved? Capital G value, mass of the earth, that is there, and RE square. And that when we calculate, when we put the values of all this stuff, we are going to get the value of small g, I said 9.8 meter per second square. And again I am repeating, this is the average value taken all over the earth, because at the same place whatever value is there, that will fix. But if we vary, when we move from place to place, the value of either this will remain same, capital G, ME will remain same, but the radius will keep on fluctuating. As I mentioned that on top of the Mount Everest, it is added 8,848 meter, and when you go to Mariana Trench or any deeper site, then we'll have closer distance from the center. So that's why it varies from place to place, but for average we will calculate 9.8 meter per second square. How do we do the calculation? That we'll discuss in the next video. Okay, thank you for today.